On May 4th, 2013, at the grand reopening of the Kilauea Lighthouse in Kauai, Hawaii, I happened to meet Senator Mazie Hirono, who is the only Buddhist senator. Obama was the only Muslim president, and he wasn't the Antichrist. Muhammad met Christ. He recognized Jesus Christ. He came after Christ. It's really interesting. Near the end of his presidency, after Trump was elected president, Obama went on live television and looked like he'd gone off script for the first time. Maybe he learned something from Trump about speaking from his heart, because Obama started speaking from his heart. He finally allowed himself to finally be himself, imperfect and vulnerable in the public eye, which is a little dangerous, but it's also a healthy sign for him for other reasons. We all need to be free to speak our true feelings. I think it's a bigger problem how easily we tend to take offense at what people say when they may either be teaching us something we didn't already know, or they may not quite know what they're talking about anyway. What if we gave each other more of a benefit of a doubt that we're doing the best we can to communicate? Some of what Obama said about Trump's promises was said in fear because he was a minority and feels a bit roughed up from the presidential campaign, from politics. And some of what he said was without having all the facts himself, because he doesn't really know the mind or have the experience of Trump. And sometimes we make mistakes. Obama made some mistakes. He doesn't have the ability to be the expert on Trump and had never seen Trump in action as the president. But he's been quickly learning the truth about that now. Perhaps he'll make another public announcement after he realizes where he was wrong, like, hey, I was wrong to prejudge as much as I did. I jumped the gun. We can still love Obama for everything we learned from him. As soon as we lose the love in our hearts, the adversary wins. People say they've never seen a president try to take away health insurance from millions of people. I say, I've never seen a president try to force health care to millions of people who didn't want it. I, for one, didn't want it. I thought Obama was right on track with what he had to say on day one in his inauguration speech. In order to solve the economical crisis, first we have to solve the rise in healthcare costs. With the rise in healthcare costs doubling and tripling every 10 years since 1950, we've always thought sooner or later the whole world would be beating down our door for the answers we have to prevent, remove, and eliminate pain, loss of energy, and disease through actual empowerment. However, his idea was not only just to have the government pay for it all, after the people had already put every dime they could into it, and that didn't solve the problem for them. Neither did it stop the healthcare costs from doubling and tripling. And to add insult to injury, he threatened extortion and prison time if you didn't sign up for Obamacare, and brags about how many people signed up. The definition of insanity is keep doing what we've done and expect things to change. It's a big mistake to think we can solve our own health problems by simply throwing more money at the problem. Over the course of history, it's just created bigger problems. It's time for people to wake up and solve the problems at their core. Otherwise, the elite abusers will continue to feed off of them. Like cattle. Moo. Unfortunately, that's where the majority of the herd is, with their herd mentality. Moo. That's what doing what's popular gets them. It's the blind leading the blind. I don't care what they think about me. Look where it's gotten them. That kind of passive follow the crowd attitude is keeping the masses from the tree of life. A quote from Glenn Tillotson: "How the yogi deals with Obama and Trump, the President of the United States, is an outer circumstance which has absolutely nothing to do with our inner self or our inner happiness. I was not a big fan of Obama's presidency or Obama's policies. Even so, I can truly say that I never suffered any personal grief from Obama or Obama's policies. Grief is never real when it's external. I'm a huge Trump fan. There's nobody I'd rather have in the White House now than Donald Trump. I have many Republican friends who suffered greatly for 8 years under Obama. Many of them died 1,000 deaths under Obama. I have lots of Democrat friends who have made the spiritual decision to die 1,000 deaths under the Trump presidency. Don't do it, people. The powers on high made Obama our president for 8 years. Now the powers on high have made Trump president. In the next election, Trump will pick up even more states than he just won. Don't torture yourselves, folks, over the Trump presidency. It's an external, dualistic condition that has absolutely nothing to do with your own true happiness or unhappiness. The yogis understand this concept. Most people do not. After your death, you'll realize you missed the point of life if you suffered over the Obama or the Trump presidency or any other presidency. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and the media exist to try to frighten us. Don't be frightened, folks. The President of the United States has absolutely nothing to do with our internal happiness. So go ahead and die 1,000 deaths over the Trump presidency if you must. The yogis won't be joining you in that stupidity. Notice how Glenn recognized the divine purpose of all the presidents. This is harmony with the laws of empowerment. It's time for us to get out of our own way from making the personal shifts we need to make in our own paradigms and actions. Everything we think, say, and do has an impact on our health and happiness. We must take full responsibility for our own personal lives. Every time I hear people blaming external circumstances for their hardship, to me, it's just a reflection of what they think and feel about themselves. It's a reflection of who's really in control of their lives. When empowered people speak, they take full responsibility for the direction they're headed in. They recognize the divine in the blessings and the challenges. They don't drag themselves down with negative emotions by taking on ownership of other people's issues. I didn't take it personally when I thought some of Obama's decisions were destructive. Life is a purification. The Apocalypse of Ezra makes it very clear God has known who all the presidents would be according to Ezra's eagle vision. That's just a little peek behind the Wizard of Oz curtain, Ezra's eagle. All abuse, every bummer, is to discover the greater empowerment, the even bigger woohoo. Are we still unteachable? Or have we learned the lesson? That's what matters most.